Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Inisa Day, and as you can see from your screen today, I'll be drawing Ariel, not just one. I'll be drawing two Ariels. Yeah, we do have two now, and the animated Ariel is not gone, everyone, so no need to panic. She still exists. You can still watch the movie. It's not going anywhere. We just have another type of Ariel, I guess, so we can all calm down. This video, as you can see, is an hour long. That is because I'm drawing in real time, and a lot of you guys suggested I do this type of video, so I thought, why not give it a try. I showed the process of me adding the colors and doing the sketch in my live earlier this week, but the live was a disaster, so I just thought that why not continue recording the process for you guys. But this time around, you see the process of me rendering this illustration to an almost complete stage. So if you want to see how I draw, or if you want to draw along with me, you can keep watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, and I'll really appreciate it. I thought that for this video I'll make it ASMR, but then after playing the video back, I realized that the clicking sounds, the things people like about the ASMR, is not really loud enough, and there's no way for me to increase the volume to a level where I can actually hear the sounds properly. You might still be able to hear it in this video because I try to keep it in as much as I can, but this was not the plan entirely. But I hope you guys still like this one, and after thinking about it, I don't think I'll be doing ASMR style video because that's not just my style of content. I've listened to some of them, and I don't know, the sound just make me cringe hard, so I thought that I'll just do whatever I feel I would like for myself as a viewer and an audience. So I thought I would just keep doing the lo-fi type video and play those in the background. And because this is an hour long, I thought it might be a good idea to talk as I'm drawing. I don't imagine myself talking for an hour, but I'll talk a lot more than in other videos. And to thinking of what topics to come up with was really hard because I didn't really want to talk about the movie coming out, but I feel like that's an important topic to bring up, so that's what I'll be doing. I'll be talking about my process as I draw. Then I will also, a majority of the video will just be me talking about the movie coming out, my thoughts, and why I'm trying to understand the hatred that this movie is getting. And yeah, like I said earlier, make sure you like and subscribe to see more content like this. I'll try and do more real life videos, like mix of different things, tutorials. So if you are interested in digital art and you want to improve your skills, this might just be the right channel for you. So yeah, let's proceed with the video. What I'm doing right now is just rendering. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm in the process of rendering, so I'm adding depth to the character's face. The character in this case would be Ali Bailey's Ariel, so I'll focus on that first, then go to the animated Ariel later on. And I'm actually really proud of the pose that I created for this. I tried so many poses, like at least 5, before I ended up with this one, and trying to capture the full character in the image was very, very tricky because of the tail. And I don't know, something about the tail is so tricky to do. But yeah, I'm really satisfied with how it looks right now. I'm really happy with the pose. They look really cute and beautiful. And for Ali Bailey's Ariel, it's really going to be difficult, making a design, because I can't really see the design of Ariel in the trailer. So it has been really difficult to choose the design to come up with. So I probably will change the design even later. But yeah, I'm really excited to do the tail. I feel like the tail will be a bit tricky, but I'm excited to see what I can come up with to make it look like an actual tail, like adding the scales and the glittery stuff that you see in tail usually, or in scales usually. So anyways, I wanted to talk about my opinions of the movie coming out, and the first thing that we need to discuss is the announcement in 2019. As soon as Ali Bailey was announced as Ariel, there was already a lot of backlash. People were upset. People did not like the idea at all. I was really unbothered. I didn't really care that much, but it seemed like a lot of people did not like that idea at all. But then it died down, and we are 3 years later, the teaser comes out. The teaser comes out and people are outraged. Like, it's even a lot worse than the announcement, and the hate that this character is getting is starting to seem a little bit excessive. Like, I understand if you don't like something, you don't watch it, you don't pay it any attention, but it seems like a lot of the haters are, giving their opinions, which I don't mind. But I've listened to some of those opinions, and some of those opinions are just very questionable for me. I'm not here to call anyone racist or misogynist or whatever. I'm just trying to understand where they're coming from, and I feel like their criticism is not genuine, and I feel like a lot of them just want to be angry and hateful. And that is why when you listen to a lot of their feedback, all they say, all the criticism that they give is the video has 1.5 million dislikes, the video has 2 million dislikes. You're not talking about why you don't like it. A lot of the time they're just using the amount of dislikes that the movie has. The teaser, by the way, not even the movie, the teaser, the amount of dislike the teaser has to justify their hate for the movie coming out. And that, to me, is not a genuine critique. That, to me, is not a true criticism. Like, it's fine to criticize a movie, but you just saying that a lot of people hate it, so I'm going to hate it as well. Like, it's at this point, it's like really popular to hate the movie, and you are joining in with popularity. A lot of the people complaining are middle-aged men that would never even think of watching Ariel in the first place. So it really baffles me that they are the one complaining the most. Most Disney fans don't really care, and the ones that really don't like the idea don't like it for different reasons, and I'll talk about that later in the video. And yeah, the teaser barely showed anything. The only thing that I saw is a shot of the ocean, which I feel like is a little bit too dark at the moment, and also a clip of Ali Bailey singing with an angelic, beautiful voice. I feel like she is perfect for that role. There's no denying that. She has an amazing voice, and that is one thing that Ariel is known for. Ariel is known for her amazing voice. In fact, the whole story of Ariel is based on her losing her voice, not based on her losing her skin tone. The focus of the story was that she lost her voice and she's trying to, just for a guy that she likes, just for a human that she likes. By the way, she's a mermaid. Okay, let me just give you guys the summary of the story in case you don't know what the story is about. There's this girl, she's a mermaid, but she has been seeing a glimpse of the, I want to say outside world, but that doesn't make sense. She has seen a glimpse of the land, things above water, and she's really intrigued by it. She's a very curious character. There's no denying that. And she really wants to know more about the outside world. She really wants to know more about what's on land. Then she saw someone that she really liked, a prince, so to say, and she really wanted to see him again. So she went to this evil witch. Is she a witch? I think she's a witch. Her name is Ursula. And Ursula gave her a gift, the gift to have feet. But there is a catch. Ursula wanted Ariel's voice, which is understandable. Ariel has an amazing, beautiful voice. So Ariel, because she really wanted to go on land, she gave Ursula her voice in exchange for feet. So she came up to the world that we are in now, the land world, as a mermaid, trying to find a way and understand how humans work. She's not human, by the way, just to remind her, she's a mermaid, so I don't think race really matters to her. Just saying, she came to the human world, learning about our culture, learning about things that humans do, learning how to use our legs, and then and the prince that she found in the boat ended up meeting again, and they fell in love with each other. And by the way, in this whole process, because Ariel gave a voice, she couldn't speak at all, but that did not stop them from falling in love with each other. And I think the whole story is just beautiful. I will recommend that you watch the entire series, the movie on Disney Plus. Yeah, the movie still exists. It's not going anywhere. It will be there forever, so there's no need to worry. If you want to see the white Ariel, she's still there. She still exists. And yeah, I would definitely recommend Ariel. I mean, I don't think Ariel is The Little Mermaid is a movie I really like, but she was not my favorite one. My favorite was Mulan, and I really loved Beauty and the Beast as well. And although in those movies none of the characters were changed, the remake were not that good. I was really disappointed by the remake of Beauty and the Beast and Mulan as well. So I don't think changing the race of the movie, of the character, will make the movie even worse. Maybe Disney is just like, no, let us try different things. Obviously sticking to the original character design or whatever is not making the movie any better. It's making the movie even worse. I don't know what Disney is thinking or what their thought process when they chose ARIEL, although the director said that, they made it an open cast thing because they really just wanted, the best person to play the character regardless of the race, which I think is a valid reason, because Ariel is not human, so obviously her race shouldn't really matter. She could be green for all I care, and it would really affect the story. So they decided, let us just pick someone that will really embody the character, and they chose Halle Bailey. And Halle Bailey fits the role perfectly. She can sing, she can act. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen her in any movies or show, but I know that she was in Grownish for a short while, and her singing voice is heavenly. Like, she's also young and youthful. I feel like she just fits that role perfectly. The only thing that makes her different from the animated Ariel is her race. And if you actually think of it, it's kind of sad that she cannot get this role just because she's black, even though she fits the other criteria perfectly. And that is why I don't think that this is Disney trying to be woke or pandering, because she ticks all the boxes. And I don't know any other celebrity that fits that box. The only one that comes to mind that a lot of people have mentioned is Ariana Grande, and I don't think Ariana Grande is going to be wanting to portray a teenager in a full movie. Ariana Grande is now a musician, she's not an actress anymore, so we'll just leave Ariana Grande out of it. Some people were saying Zendaya. I'm like, no, Zendaya is amazing, but you cannot compare Halle Bailey's voice to Zendaya's. And I feel like picking Zendaya would just be a perfect example of pandering, because they're trying to appeal to both the black community and the white community. So I feel like the fact that they picked Halle Bailey as the main character, as the main actor, just tells me that they decided to value some other things about the character over a race. Anyways, that's some of my thoughts for now. And what am I doing here? I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to color the tail. And I put a little bit I try to add the depth to the tail first before I start adding texture. And I've done that for other parts of the body, and I was not really satisfied with how Halle Bailey was looking in my recreation, so I decided to go and get a picture of her and use that as my reference. And yeah, I actually went back to this because I realized that there's too much depth and too much shadow into the character. So I went back to keeping things very, very simple. And another thing I struggled with was adding the pupil to the eyes. So I just did my trusted technique, as you will see later on. And here I'm just trying to capture wide set eyes and the shape of her eyes as well. I don't know what shape she has. It's like an almond. It's like kind of a triangle shape. I feel like she has a really unique eye shape, so I was really determined to capture that. I'm not sure if I ended up capturing it perfectly, but I just tried to do that as best as I can. Then for the animated Ariel, I kept it round and gorgeous. And here you see that I'm adding all the depth. I think that I picked a very dark shadow, which was a big mistake. I feel like it would work for a portrait, but because this is a full character design, and I'm really just, you won't like, I feel like if you look at it far away, it won't look as impressive or as good as I wanted to. So after doing all this, I actually ended up zooming out and seeing that, oof, maybe those dark shadows are a bit too dark, so I lightened them up later on. So yeah, I spent a whole chunk of this just wasting my time and doing things that I will end up undoing just because. And I feel like that's the beauty of, you know, drawing. You're experimenting with different things, and I always try to see what works best for that specific illustration and not just stick to what I'm used to drawing. Obviously I have a specific way of drawing, but at the same time I try to think of things that will make that drawing work even better. I try to think of things that, you know, might be a bit new to my process, and those things are the things that will actually help you to develop your art style. So I would recommend that, even though if you are drawing, especially if you don't like the way you draw, the only way to get better at that is to explore different things, different techniques, and different way of drawing. So here I'm using very strong shadows and lights and highlights, and I feel like for this illustration it doesn't work that well. I might do that for a portrait illustration, but for this it was just a failure. And also the face is a bit wonky, and that is where flipping is important, and I think that's something I forgot to do, or maybe I didn't do enough of. So you'll see later on I ended up fixing the face because I realized that, you know, something in the face was off, and the only way to actually see that is to flip your canvas. It's hard to tell if you don't flip your canvas. So if you're wondering, oh, my face, the proportion doesn't look that correct, just flip your canvas and you will see where the mistake lies. Back to my rant about the movie. A lot of people, as you know, a lot of people dislike the movie, and I feel like the like to view ratio is actually very normal for a movie. So I just feel like the movie is dislike bombed at this point. I just feel like people just want to be hateful towards teaser, but in actuality the like ratio is very normal. So I feel like the movie will still do really, really well regardless of the dislikes it's getting. And one common term I've heard a lot is woke Disney, and it really confuses me because what does that mean? It's basically just representation and inclusion, and I don't know why people are upset by that. Is that not supposed to be a good thing? When is representation and inclusion negative? But that is how people have spun this, and people are using the excuse of the fact that she was race swapped. But I think it's more than that, because even when Black Panther came out and when Mulan came out, and basically anything that is where a minority takes the lead role in a big movie like that, there is a lot of criticism towards Disney and towards major studios, saying that they're trying to pander or they're trying to be woke, which I'm like, okay, so what do you want them to do? Do you want them to be inclusive or not? Because how is creating a movie about Black Panther pandering or Disney being woke? And a lot of that feedback was made before the movie even came out, just like with Ariel, and it just shows that some people are not okay or happy to see minorities take lead roles, and that is the way I've viewed the whole situation. I feel like white people, especially some of them, don't like the idea of including minorities, and these same people will avoid watching black people or minority groups take the lead roles at all cost. And I feel like a big reason is, and I feel like that's what makes them hate this movie a lot. It's more than just them race swapping, and pandering is another thing that a lot of people say. But I believe that pandering will not apply in this case. If you want to talk about pandering, I feel like it will make more sense to, if they race swapped a supporting character, or they made Ariel mixed race, I'll be like, yeah, that's a little bit pandering. But to make Ariel a black girl, in my opinion, is a bold move and a bold statement. Like, Disney did not need to do that. Nobody would have complained, but it's obvious that they chose to pick Ali Bailey for a different reason. And I've mentioned that reason earlier. I just think that she's perfect for the role, regardless of our race, regardless of our skin tone, our skin color. They just felt like, you know what, this might get a lot of backlash. But she is perfect, let's use her. And those people complaining about, Ariel, and sending so much hatred to this, and some of them so the people complaining about Disney trying to use this so that they can shield themselves against criticism are just basically giving Disney that shield. They're basically giving Disney the reason to say that this is a racism thing, because the only critique you guys have given Disney at this stage is that Ariel is black. There's no other reason, there's no other critique. So if the movie actually comes out and the movie is not good, you're basically giving them a handout to say, you know what, people just hate this movie because of the character, the person playing the movie. And that's already happening. A lot of people hate the movie just because of the person playing the movie and playing the main character in the movie. And I don't understand why she is so hated, and I don't think it's fair on her that people are sending a lot of hate. Some people are like, oh, we're not sending hate towards her, we are sending hate towards Disney. But if you actually look at some of the negative feedback of this movie, a lot of people are even insulting her parents, saying that she looks like a fish, and just saying horrible things towards the actress. And I don't feel like she deserves it. She's a beautiful girl and she's perfect for the role. There's no need to throw insult our way, and there's a lot of insults thrown our way. So people are trying to say that they are not trying to be hateful, but there is sign, and the way the things that they say, their actions just shows me that they're just being hateful just because of her skin tone. And it's really, really sad. It's really sad. I don't think she deserves the hate she's getting. And those kind of people are the people that will actually make this movie more successful, because you will have people like me who don't care about the movie, who never really cared about the movie before, caring about it even more, because we don't think that the hate is well deserved. So now we are more passionate about the movie, and we are hoping that the movie is actually good, because there are many signs of past remakes where like the remakes have been a disaster. even though they've tried to keep the story exactly the same, they just come out a little bit boring in the live remake. So but I hope that it's a different case when it comes to The Little Mermaid. I really hope that it becomes successful and maybe even one of the best remakes out there. And if you don't like the fact that Ariel has been changed, why don't we think about it this way? Now we have two Ariels, and now there's an opportunity to actually have both of them in the same movie. There's such a thing as the multiverse in Disney, let's not forget. The multiverse exists. Remember Miles Morales as Spider-Man? And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is still one of the best animated series movie out there, and he is one of the best Spider-Man, although we don't have a lot of best Spider-Man, but he is like a really amazing Spider-Man. So Peter Parker still existed in that universe, so it could be the case for the two Ariels. There's potential for them to work together later in the future, and Disney can have so many adventures between the two of them. There could be a series made out of, the two of them being together, trying to find their way, maybe trying to defeat or help one of them save themselves from Ursula. Maybe there's two Ursulas in one universe, and then the second Ariel comes to help the other Ariel. I don't know, but I feel like there's potential for the two of them to be together. So I don't think that this is the end of the so-called white Ariel. I just feel like this is an opportunity to bring a different outlook into the character and help us to see the character for what she is, an amazing, beautiful mermaid that has an amazing, beautiful voice, and that's it. And what you can see me doing right now is not positioning my camera in the right place, and in this stage I zoom in and out a lot, so I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but right now I'm just trying to add details to the tail. So for a while now I've been adding like some texture, some pattern. I'm just using the same brush, but like trying to shape it to look like scales. So I don't want it to look exactly like scales. I just want it to have that shimmery, glittery effect that scales tend to have. So for the highlights, I'm picking like really high contrast highlights, like really high saturation and really bright yellows. And yeah, I'm just adding details to Ariel. Her eyes look they don't look nice at the moment, so I'm hoping that I can fix that when I add the details to the character. And one of my proudest moments for this illustration is actually the hair. I can't believe that I was able to pull that off, because it actually looks like it's floating, and you will notice that it's in the same direction. So for this illustration I used a directional composition. It's very, very important that when you are creating a drawing, you consider the composition right at the beginning. That will help you to structure and design your illustrations in a more aesthetically pleasing way. So I decided to have the hair blown towards the right, when I realized that the tails will be directed towards the left. So it's kind of like an opposite flow, but it still goes in the same direction. It's basically a directional pose composition. And yeah, if you don't know much about composition and you are an aspiring illustrator or self-taught, it's something that I recommend that you look into. There are so many videos on YouTube and so many topics about that you can find on YouTube, on Google. that is really helpful if you're trying to improve your knowledge on composition, and you realize that will help you to create your illustrations in a much more directed manner. It will help you to make decisions very quickly. It will help you to it will help the audience to it will help you to direct your audience to the main focus of the illustration. Just learn what composition is. Try it for yourself and you see what I mean. Composition is great, that's all I can say. You guys will have to let me know if you like this style of video. Do you like the real-time process, or do you prefer the sped up one? I should have mentioned this earlier, but maybe it's too late now. But you can speed up this process using the playback speed. You can speed it up by ×2, but I just wanted to give you guys the option to do that. I forgot to mention that earlier. And if you feel like this video is too lengthy for you, that's another option. And yeah, I'm fixing fingers. Why are hands so difficult to draw? Can someone explain the science behind that? There has to be a reason. I can't be hiding my hands all the time. I wish I could. I know there are some artists out there that love drawing hands, but I think the majority of us have agreed that hands are terrible. And of course, I'm using a reference for this, so you guys shouldn't think that I'm drawing from imagination. I'm not. I'm relying very heavily on a reference. In fact, for the whole pose, I am relying on references. I feel like using references is very important for any type of drawing you're trying to create. If you don't use references a lot, I feel like you need to get on that boat. Learn how to use references. Your drawings don't have to look exactly like the reference. Like, you won't find my drawing, you won't find this drawing in any other picture or frame. It's from my imagination, but I heavily relied on references for the idea for the pose, and some of it, like the direction of the tail and direction of the hair, is sort of my imagination. And obviously I use the reference to know what the character is actually going to look like. That is also not from my imagination, because this is not my character. So yeah, just taking my sweet time to do the hand. I wish I could just ignore it, but it's so prominent that it has to be done. Now back to my rant. I'm just going to put this out there. I hate the idea of race swapping. And you'll be like, but Eunice, you have been in support of this whole thing the entire time. How can you now say that you hate the idea of race swapping? Isn't that a little bit hypocritical? And I'll tell you why it's not. I hate, one of the things I do not like, well, I can't say I hate it, because it's not the worst crime ever, But I really don't like when artists, illustrators, fan artists race swap characters for their fan art. For example, maybe I've seen people do that even for the Avatar The Last Airbender characters and turn them black, or different animated characters, and change the race to fit maybe their own, if it's to fit their own race, kind of like cosplay. So I don't really mind that. But if you're just changing the race for changing sake, then I just feel like it's a little bit disrespectful to the creators. Because me personally, I have my own characters, and I wouldn't like the race of my character to be changed. In fact, one of the reasons why I stopped doing draw this in your style challenges is whenever I draw a black character, there are entries of people changing my black character white, which infuriates me a lot. Like, it annoys me. If you're wondering why I'm not going to do any draw this in your style challenges soon, I'm going to explain why now. I really don't like when people change my character design, when they change the skin color or the color of the character's clothing, for example, or maybe the color of the hair. Like, I have designed the character the way they are. You can draw my character in your style or not draw them at all. Why do you feel the need to change the character design? That is always my question. Why do you feel the need to change the color of my character? Is it because the color of my character is not good enough for you? So those kind of things, whenever I see them, I don't obviously send hate to them or say all these nasty things to people, like people are saying to Harley. But at the same time, it's just not my preference. However, if the owners of the characters are the ones changing the race, then I don't care. It's their character. They can do whatever they want to do to their character. Like, if I decide that I want to change the aesthetic or change my character design of a specific character, then I feel like I should be allowed to do that because it belongs to me. And that is why I don't really care that Ariel's race has been changed, because Disney was the one that chose to do that, and Disney has ownership to that character. So if they decide to change the race of the character, then they can. Those people saying that it's inspired by Danish folklore. Ariel is not a Danish character. It's very different from the character described in the folklore. Ariel is Disney. It belongs to Disney. Ariel is Disney's character, and they choose to change a character, then that's fine. If it's just a random fan changing the character of Ariel, then I wouldn't really like that. I wouldn't really be in support of that as much. I won't, send hatred to them, but I'm not going to be like, do whatever, I support you. I do understand why, especially when it comes to changing white characters black. I understand why some black people do that. They do that because there isn't that much representation in media for animated characters. But at the same time, I don't feel like you should change someone else's character into the race that pleases you. Changing the race of someone else's character, that's where I draw the line. I feel like there's a big difference. I feel like I should be entitled to change the race of my characters. Like some of my characters are blue, for example, and I feel like I should have the right to change the race of my character. If I decide, I don't want my character blue again, I want them purple, or I don't want them blue again, I want them light skinned, or I don't want them blue again, I want them dark skinned. I feel like I should be entitled to that. And that is why I don't really have an issue with Disney doing what they did. They're entitled to change their character design, and there's no reason for me to complain. So another point I wanted to make was, I feel like there are three groups of audiences here. We have the hateful, we have the unbothered, which I believe I fall in line with, and we have the so-called hypocrites. So the so-called hypocrites are being called hypocrites by the haters, by the hateful, and that's where I'm going to stop there. And if you look at the group, the hateful group, I feel like there are two types of hateful groups, and one of them I actually am unbothered by. The first one is the race swap haters. Like I mentioned before, I don't really like race swapping, but if it's your character, do whatever you want to do. And the thing that bothers me about these race swap characters are the fact that they are now comparing, Ariel to real people, saying that, okay, what if, Barack Obama is played by a white person, or real people played by a different race, that we shouldn't complain, we don't have the right to complain because we're supporting Ariel. Michael Jackson can be played by a white person now, even though I think that happened. LMK can be played by a white person now. Black Panther can be played by a white person now. And I just feel like those kind of I don't even know what these discussions or just hateful remarks are unnecessary, because first of all, you cannot compare a fictional mermaid to a real person. Why would you, if you're trying to give an historical storyline of a specific character, why would you change such character? Like, I wouldn't expect a black person to play Trump. I wouldn't expect a black person to play George W. Bush or Queen Elizabeth. Like, that wouldn't make sense. But because this is a fictional character, and the way fictional characters work is you have a character designer that explores the character, explores color, shapes, whatever. That's how character design works. It doesn't, most of the time, is not based on a specific person. It's just an artist that loves drawing characters like myself, creating a new person, but a new fictional person. So, and the people saying that, oh, what if Tiana's race was swapped? Then, to be honest, if Tiana's race was swapped and she was made into a white person, I don't really care. But I will find it odd that, Tiana at the moment is the only black character, well, with black Disney princess. Well, with the new Ariel, I guess we'll have two now, but Tiana technically is the only original black princess. So why would you change Tiana's race? It's like basically an attempt to erase representation, when Disney's goal is to build up representation. So that wouldn't make sense either. But if Disney wanted to do that, I'm not going to be sending hatred towards the movie. I will just not watch it, most likely. So yeah, and Black Panther, that wouldn't make sense, because Black Panther is based on, a world where, it's specifically only Africans. Like, there was no colonization, there were blocks from the outside world. So I don't see how a white person will be the leader of an African nation. That will make zero sense to me. And there are some characters where I might not mind, or I really don't care, but there are some specific characters that it won't make sense for them to be race swapped, including white characters. Frozen, Elsa will be one of them. So I just feel like these people are just trying to irritate and like get under our skin by saying those things, even though they are not really valid points. And the next group of people are the unbothered people. Before I go to the unbothered people, I feel like there are these same hateful or race swapping haters will also have a problem if Disney decides today that they are going to make original black characters. I feel like they'll still be like, if Disney this comes out there and say that for the next 10 years, because they are trying to be more inclusive and show representation in their media, they are going to make the next 10 years all their new princesses will be black or POC. This same group of people will be hateful or will still complain about Disney trying to be woke or trying to pander. So I think it's more than just race swapping. I just think that a lot of these people have issues with black people being in the forefront of media. I just feel like that's the case. Like, even when Starfire was made black in the series, a lot of people had complaints about that, even though Starfire is orange. She's not even any skin complexion that is known to human existence. She's orange, can be literally played by anybody, but people were complaining that she was played by a black person. So those kind of things just show me that these people are just hateful regardless, but they are using this race swapping as a shield to be hateful. Basically, they are complaining about Disney using the race swapping as a shield. I feel like they are also using the race swapping as a shield to shield the fact that they just don't like the idea of a black person taking center stage in such a prominent movie. And for the black people demanding for more black characters instead of race swapping, I just feel like they need to be ready to wait for another 20 years or so, because Disney is in their remake phase. They've been remaking their animated movies or comic books for years now, and they're going to keep doing that for a very long time, as long as it's profiting them. So if you are waiting for that, then you're waiting a long time and you're expecting a lot from them. So I don't know, I'm not going to say that accept what is given to you and just take that as it is. I feel like it's okay to share your frustration and complaints, but I also think that we have to remember that Disney is a profit, is a company. They don't really care about pandering or wokeness. They only care about making money, and if this movie is going to make them money, that's all that matters to them. If remakes are going to make them money, that's all that matters to them. So if you don't like Ariel, and if you don't like The Little Mermaid because it's just a cheap shot into getting our money, then I feel like you should also have an issue with every other remakes that they've made. So if you don't have an issue with every other remake that they made, I don't see why you should send so much hate to this specific one. And the other groups of people where I kind of respect them, they are also in the fan group. They are also fans of the movie, of the animated movie, and big fans of Disney in general. I respect them, but I don't agree with the philosophy. And these groups of people are the ones that really don't like when a character design is changed. So they would hate the idea that Ariel's red hair is now ginger. They hate when, even for the Marvel movies, even when they try to, these creators try to keep the movie the same, they always find something to complain about the changes in the character design. And at least they are being fair, they are being equal, they have complaints about everything. So those people, I don't have issue with them, although I don't feel the need for characters to remain the same. I like the idea of reinventing a character. I like the idea of changing things up if you have the opportunity to do so. So I understand why the creators of this remakes are always excited to reinvent such characters. Arcane is another one where it's based on a game. But they decided, no, this is our opportunity to reinvent the character, and we can all agree that the new character designs are way better than the game. I really love the new character design for Echo compared to the game, and I really love the new character design for Jinx, for example. So yeah, those people, I respect them. I don't agree with them, but I respect them. And this second group of people is the unbothered group. That is where I fall in line. These are also the other type of fan, the ones that are just excited for any new remake to come. They don't really care about what it is. Most of us don't care about Ariel being black or white. Are just excited for the movie to come out and see how they are able to portray the story in a live action remake. And the so-called hypocrites, the ones that are happy for representation, they've been called hypocrites because if it's a black person that is changed into a white person, they will be upset. But I also understand why they would be upset, because there's very little representation of POC in media in the first place. So to be erasing such representation is just going to make the matter even worse. But it's obvious that those people calling them hypocrites don't care. They just feel like there should be some sort of equality in outrage. But I will put this to them. Why don't we do this? Why don't we change all the black characters into white and all the white characters into black? Do you now see how unfair that is, or do you agree to that disposition? If you do, then that's fine. I would love that. If you guys are wanting to change all races so bad in media, why don't we do that then? But we have to keep it equal. Keeping it equal is not changing one character, it's changing all characters' race. We can change all the white ones to POC and all the black and POC characters into white. Then we will see how it feels like on the other foot. Like, I grew up in Nigeria, I grew up in Africa. If you don't know, West Nigeria is a country in West Africa, and I just took Disney and all this, show, Nickelodeon, whatever. I took them as, white shows. But if Disney has decided in their mind that they're going to make more representation in their movies and in their shows, they will have to include more black characters and more black main characters so that it actually feels inclusive. Like, I never saw myself in any of those shows and movies, and I didn't really care because I grew up around people that looked like me, and those people that are saying, oh, why do you have to see yourself in a fictional character or whatever, or in media. I would have been like that as well. I would have said those same things. But then if I actually, now that I am living in a foreign country, I'm living in England, I'm surrounded by majority white people, it's actually really nice seeing someone that looks like me in media, because I'm not surrounded by people that look like me. And that has an effect in your mindset and in the way you think. You might think it doesn't, because as a white person, because you don't feel that if you really want to feel what it's like to feel excluded, surround yourself by people that don't look like you. Surround yourself with people that don't have the same culture as you, and see how it feels. For white people, they don't really understand what it means to be represented in media, because they're always surrounded by people that look like them, so they don't feel the same way that we do. And I wouldn't have felt this way if I didn't move out of my own country to come to stay in the West. And if places like England and the US is trying to be multicultural, then I feel like trying to include more POC in media is very, very important for these studios. Disney is loved by a lot of people. It's not just loved by people in the US. Disney is loved by people in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, in America, all over the world. And I feel like it will, because one thing we're also used to is seeing a specific type of black people in media, and I feel like we need more diversity of personality of black people. And I'm tired of seeing the same type of black people in media, because those don't represent who I am. So seeing a black person that is a little bit different from the stereotype or the expected black person, I feel like it will also open the eyes of people, for example in Asia, to see that black people are not who we think they are. They are not the stereotypes that portrayed to be in media. In general, black people are just the same as us, and black people can be different and not monotype. So I feel like it's kind of important that Disney is doing this, but also it doesn't really matter. Anyways, I can't believe I actually spoke for as long as I did. But towards the end of my drawing, right now I'm just adding blush and some effects, and yeah, I'm really happy with how this looks. You will see the end product on my Instagram when I finally finish the drawing, and I'm pleased enough with the illustration to post it. If you guys really enjoyed this, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and let's remember that both Ariels are in existence and one does not replace the other. It just means that we have to, and we might still end up preferring the animated version over the live action anyway. So all this argument, all this fighting shouldn't really matter. One thing I need to do is fix my YouTube channel, because I'm tired my YouTube account, because I'm tired of seeing all this negativity towards Black Ariel. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.